DJ Dewey Rock on the track.
Welcome to Immerse Podcast 360. I'm your host, Maserati. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. No matter where you are in this metaverse world, we're going to continue to bring you the best quality content and formula that we know how. We want to thank you guys for all the likes, shares, and subscriptions thus far. We appreciate the great feedback on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and now TikTok. We want to invite you guys to continue to follow us on Spreaker.com/show/Immerse-360. And guys, we have a very special guest for this episode of Beyond the Game. This is being brought to you by Involved Social and Civic Club, Burchell Family Insurance Agency, and our own Northeast Louisiana Counseling here in Scrap City. Hey, this episode of Beyond the Game, we have a living legend. He is a graduate of the West Monroe Running Rebels, where he would go on to play at LSU before transferring home again to NLU, now known as ULM. Hey, he was a standout where he was a star there. In his freshman and sophomore year, he recorded over 5 sacks. And this man, I tell you, he was known for his quickness. He had 5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles with the Indians that year, and also a career high. King also was used his exceptional quickness. I mean, he was quick, y'all. And this is a living legend. West Monroe's finest is in the building. We got him here, y'all. It's legendary NLU Carolina Panther, Shawn King. How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate that intro. I really do. Good to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
No doubt, no doubt. We just want to, for our listening audience, that may not know you, kind of give them a background about how you came up, Shawn, and give us an insight of the struggle you had as a young man.
Well, I came up in West Monroe, man. Pretty much like anybody else, we were right above the poverty line, man. Our parents did the best for us, and we came up through the racial struggle. And but as a little kid, I just had a dream, man. I wanted to buy a big house and do great things. So, I knew my outlet was sports, man. So, I really love sports, gravitated to it, and it worked out for me. I was able to get a scholarship out of West Monroe at the time. Many people wasn't getting scholarships at the time, so went to LSU and played there 2 years, and we had a coaching change after my freshman year, and I transferred to Northeast Louisiana and played there my last 3 years, man, and got drafted in 95, 36 pick of the draft to the Carolina Panthers. Changed my life forever.
Most definitely. I remember watching you play. Kind of share with us about coming from West Monroe and how was the hype being a Rebel back then. People don't know how it was playing 5A football back then. Kind of share with the people about how it was to be a West Monroe Rebel back then.
Yeah, man, it wasn't very pleasant playing football, man. We were better in basketball. We had good times in basketball and football. I got to be honest with you. I never had a winning season at West Monroe. Coach Shaw's first year was my senior year. We went 4-6, man, and I always told him I wish he'd have got here 2 or 3 years earlier, but yeah, we wasn't winning, man. We had 38 people on the team, man. Wasn't nobody getting scholarships. I was out there playing because my friends were playing. I figured I'd go to college in basketball. So, it was very different back in the 90s, man. Very different.
Right, and being from Louisiana and being over there in West Monroe, people don't know that you were a phenomenal athlete, period, 3-star athlete. Matter of fact, You say about the wasn't very pleasant coming up in West Monroe and compared to how it is now. But give us more insight about actually how it was over there compared to now. People think it's always been peaches and cream, but like you said, it has not always been that way.
No, man. We couldn't get people to come out for the team, man. There wasn't wasn't no playoffs. There wasn't, like I said, there wasn't scholarship. There wasn't any reason to dream if you played football for West Monroe, really, man. It was, that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't very pleasant, and as a good athlete, I had to lose and hang my head like the rest of them, no matter what, and during basketball season, we got our revenge from a lot of people, went to the Final Four. I won the state championship in high jump. I was down there with all the bastard people. Y'all used to win the state championship every year down there. So that's the reason I said it wasn't very pleasant, man. We didn't have a lot of people playing football. A lot of my friends didn't play football.
Right. And, you go on and you stand out. You and your brother, Jerome, who I talk to quite frequently, you guys go on and do phenomenal things. Now, let's go and jump into actually getting the scholarship, being a standout, and going to LSU. Man, how was that transition coming from West Monroe going to big old Baton Rouge back then?
I loved it, man. Matter of fact, I committed to Texas A&M out of high school. I went to LSU my last visit, man, and met all the cool guys that I signed with, the Hilliers, all those guys, and man, it was just it just felt home, and I went to the night game, and shoot, it doesn't get any better than the night games. Although they wasn't winning, we had Mike Archer my freshman year. I played my true freshman year. And things were looking good, and this guy gets fired after my freshman year, and they bring in a coach. And this guy was all about discipline and shaking things up, Curly Hallman. And, man, we never saw eye to eye. I didn't like the things he was doing. And, I wasn't a clean-cut kid. I was, my name was coming across his desk a lot. And eventually I knew I was going to have to get out of there. I played one season with him. And I transferred to LSU, man. My dad didn't want me to transfer, so I actually stopped going to class. I failed out so I can get out of there, man. So, and it actually worked out, man. I got back to Northeast where Dave Roberts recruited me out of high school. And, man, shoot, he took care of me, he took care of a young man like they're supposed to get taken care of, because as a young man, 17 to 22 years old, man, you make mistakes. And you're going to need that leeway. You're going to need those coaches to give you a little room because kids are going to make mistakes. You're taking them from being a kid to a young adult.
Right.
And, back in the early 90s, it wasn't a lot of coaches that would tolerate a lot of things, man. So I got to Northeast, and I was fortunate, and it worked out.
Right, and it was allegedly rumored, y'all. I guess I'm gonna dip in something and bring up an old wound, but it was alleged that you got into it with this big time star athlete at LSU. How true is that, Shawn?
I know, man. It's it's not true at all. Me and Shaq never had a fight, man. Matter of fact, me and Shaq were friends, man. I went out to see Shaq in 2000. Went to a couple games. By me having a reputation of fighting and It was over this little female and another guy lying and words getting mixed up and guys told Shaq I was looking for him. So he came looking for me and went to the wrong room, and him and this other football player got into it for other reasons. And next thing you know, it was a football and basketball fight, so to speak. And we figured Clarence Season started everything. And me and my friend found him and jumped on him, and we went to jail for it. He went to the hospital, and my name, as you can see, I went to jail for the football-basketball fight, and they just automatically figure I beat Shaq up. I don't know how, but Shaq is the biggest man that I ever met in my life.
Oh, Lord.
I said, I must have been brave at 2021, man, because I would not take that fight today, brother. I promise to God.
Man. So that was an altercation. Like pretty much, it was the basketball team versus the football team. That actually what happened.
That's pretty much what happened. Only Shaq and that other guy got in the fight, and some other things happened around it. The football coach and the basketball coach had words. It it was all kind of things happened around it, but they put it all together and threw my name in there. I don't know how they say. I'm glad they said I beat Shaq up. I said, I wonder, do they tell Shaq, I heard this football player beat you up? Because Shaq is a big dude.
Most definitely, most definitely.
You know, going up there talking about somebody beat you up. Yeah.
Right. And, and that's what we're gonna get into about, the trials and tribulations you had, beyond the game and after the game and how God turned it around. We're going to take an intermission. We're going to jump into you finally getting drafted and take us back to that moment, how you felt and how the impact it had on the family and the dreams you had of being that star Pro Bowl, Super Bowl athlete when we return after this intermission.
All right, no problem.
Hey, we're here with West Monroe living legend, former Carolina Panther, and NLU Indian, y'all. Standout, the legend, the myth, the man. He's in the building. Shawn King, when we return after this intermission.
Immerse 360 Podcasts focuses on uplifting rural and urban areas and dire conditions with no solutions by shedding light on pioneers, athletes, and political figures who have made an impression on Northeast Louisiana and surrounding areas. Immerse understands the social and civic needs to love, learn, live, and laugh. So tap in every Sunday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. on all social networks and platforms. Always remember, Immerse 360.
Welcome back to Immerse 360. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Stardom Networks, Kick Thrones here in Scrap City, Louisiana, and Morehouse Community Development. We're still here with the man, the myth, the living legend, West Monroe, running rebel, the man that started off former Carolina Panther, NLU standout. Shawn King is still with us. Say, Brother King, let's jump into the moment you get drafted. The whole state, I know Northeast Louisiana is riding your shoulders with everybody happy, elated. Take us to that moment when you finally get that call, bro.
Oh man, yeah, they were coaching me pretty hard, man. They were flying me around, because I had a possibility of going first round. So I flew to Philadelphia, Minnesota, New Orleans, a couple other teams, to meet with them. And draft day comes, man, and that's a long day. As a matter of fact, the first round went 7 hours, man. And, that's 32 players. I got drafted 36 player, and they called me at the first pick of the second round. I was on the phone with Minnesota, and my phone beeped in, and Carolina was on the phone. And he asked, Coach Capers called me. He said, have you ever been to Carolina? I said, no, sir. He said, well, I want to welcome you. You're a Carolina Panther. And, man, shoot, it was a surreal moment. It was all you dreamed for, man, and you get right to work. As soon as they draft you, man, it's like a week later, you're over there at minicamp and you're running around and you're getting to see the business of it all. I tell people all the time, I played for the Panthers and the Indians, but you work for the Panthers. I played for the Indians and the Tigers, but you work for the Panthers. So you see the business real quick. But I signed for $750,000, man, right out of college. Was able to do great things for my family. Man, it was awesome for myself. Didn't get any better.
Right.
Didn't come true.
Right. And, you kind of, Thomas Turner and you guys, you remember Big Tom, you guys kind of brung that SEC back around to this era, in this area. Kind of share with the youth out there, you just said about the business side, but kind of share with them about transitioning from one level to the next, Shawn.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a business, and, you have to get with the veterans, the guys who've been through it. And they'll you ask the right questions, man, you can find out anything, and those are the people that'll help you out, but any kid coming out, man, I just say, man, work your tail off, man. In order to see what you've never seen before, you must do the things you never done, and a lot of people are scared to do that. So
Right. You know, and being in the league, what were some of your most profound moments? I know back at NLU, you had 72 tackles in 1994. That was a career high. But what are some of the most profound moments you have looking back playing for the Carolina Panthers for so long in your 7-year stint in the NFL?
I mean, every year, shoot, man, I might get 2 or 3 players of the game, and it just make you realize that, man, you're made to play this game. You're supposed to be here. You can be a player in this game. You can play as long as you want. And I figured, and coming out of college, I thought once you made it to the NFL, you made it. You can relax. You can chill out, but it's harder to keep your job than it is to get there. It's crazy. You got so many guys sitting by waiting on the phone, but it's definitely worth it,
Right. Some of the advice, that you got, what I'll say this, what career player, a Hall of Fame player, a Pro Bowl player that had the biggest influence on you while you were with the Carolina Panthers, let's say?
Sam Mills, man, without question. That was my guy. Sam used to invite us to the house, man. Sam was the first one that taught me how to watch film. He taught me how to be a student of the game. When I used to be in my 3-point stance and Sam played linebacker, he behind us, he in the games, and he'll holler, run, or pass. And 85% of the time, 90% of the time, this guy's right. So one day after the game, I'm like, man, how do you know when they running or they passing? And that's when he showed me formations and tendencies. And, that's when I started becoming a student of the game, man, and becoming a professional. He taught me how you're supposed to do things, how you're supposed to move, man. He was real impactful, very impactful, man. I don't think I would have made it the 7 years without Sam,
Most definitely, and playing in the NFL, a lot of people say the meaning is not for long. We interviewed Marshae Green, Brian Jones, from the greats that we have from here. When they say this acronym about the NFL meaning not for long, what is your outlook on that from your perspective?
Well, see, I never got cut, so I wasn't one of those players that worried about his job. My thing was off the field. You know what I mean? I had too much fun. It wasn't on the field, wasn't a problem at all. Never had been a problem. I never, like I said, never got released from a team or anything, man. It was just off the field antics. So,
right, and that's what we want to get into. You playing in the NFL, you had some off the field issues that kind of stagnated your career. You could have been that. You are that man, but you could have really shown the people you was that man.
Oh, yeah.
But without the off the field, take us there about the off the field problem Shawn King had.
Well, like I said, man, I was doing too much too early. I never really cared about football, and that was the problem. I just wanted to have the money. I just wanted to be rich. I didn't care about the NFL. I didn't care about how I got it. I could have won a lottery. I'd have been just as happy. You know what I'm saying? And that made me never respect what I had. Now, I had fun while I had it, but I preferred not going to practice, not going over there. And I think, that reflected in my off the field stuff, Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's why I invited you, brother, because I know that God has really done a miraculous thing for the King boys. You guys have a great testimony and a great story, and I know you don't mind sharing it, and kind of share with the kids about going to the dark side and coming back into the light.
Yeah, it's never over, man. As long as you got life in your body, you should fight, you got a chance to get it right. You got another day of hope, and I've never been the one that wanted to lay down, and if I mess it up, I know I could fix it. So that was always my issue. I was the one messing my stuff up, so I knew that one day I could fix it, and I thought I could anyway. But God had to fix it for me, man. God had to do a lot of things for me, and once I got out the NFL and had kids and started raising them, man, and I wanted better. And that's when I had the encounter with the Lord.
Right. You guys had encounter, and not only did you guys have a powerful encounter, you guys had a powerful encounter. You guys became part of the Christian Power Team. And I remember when those guys came to Barrowship High School and I was in the ninth grade, and to see them being crowbar and rebar and break bats across the head. And then to see you and Jerome doing it, man. Share with us about the true power of God.
Oh, man. Matter of fact, we had just come home from playing arena ball out in California. Man, I was tired of playing football. He was tired. We wanted something else to do. And, man, I was working out at the gym, and I seen these big old guys and one big lady in there working out. I'm like, they're not from around here. I'm like, so, they see me speaking to everybody, shaking hands. They're like, who are you and what are you doing? We talked for about 5 or 10 minutes. I found out who they were. They told me they were at the church First Assembly down on Cypress. And they told me about their program, and I was like, yeah, man, that sounds nice, man. They were like, you should come out, meet our boss, man. He's looking for some new guys. And, I kind of blew them off like, yeah, all right. Yeah. So I told my mom about it, and, yeah, they went. Mom got so inspired, she came home and told us about it. She was crying and said, y'all need to go. And, again, me and Jerome blew them off. And she must have got in that closet and started praying, man, and, the next day I run into them at the grocery store, and shoot, man, they told me they were going to tell their boss to give me a call, and shoot, he called me in about 2 or 3 days, sent me a brochure and a CD of what they do, and asked me if I wanted to come out with them on the test run.
Wow. And explain to the people the focus, the fasting and the praying and the dedication you have to be able to bend and break stuff like this. They think it's a game. I saw with my own eyes you have the duct tape with the handcuffs, and I saw you do that, bro. Explain to the youth and to us, period, about the fasting and the praying and the focus it takes.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, right before I got on the team, man, I had my father had gotten saved, and I watched him for about 2 or 3 years, and because I figured he gonna figure it out, and he ain't gonna be with this stuff too long. And once I saw my father gravitate to it, because he's a big reader, and I wanted some of what he had, and I asked him, "How can I get saved? Send me some stuff." And I remember him sending me to a boot camp of some Christian boot camp or something, man. Some little questionnaire and Q&A thing you fill out about the Bible and questions and stuff. So, man, I was praying and, asking God to give me something to do for him before I even got back to Louisiana, where I met the power team, man. So I was fasting and praying then, trying to do the right thing. And then I get to Monroe, West Monroe, and shoot, man, about a month later, I meet these guys on the power team, man. And shoot, man, I went on the road with these guys, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Wow. To see you guys on TV doing that, and see you go from the NFL, knowing your story about your off the field lifestyle, and to see you come back the way you did, Shawn, it is a testimony, and it is a story and the epitome of how God really works if you really have the dedication in your heart to change your life around, brother. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm proud of you, bro.
Man, I appreciate it, man. And it was all God, man. I didn't know how to live, man, until I got in that ministry, man. God taught me how to live. God taught me how to look at the cup half full. He taught me to take the blessing out of every lesson, and shoot, I found out that every lesson was for me. He taught me how to treat my neighbor. You know what I'm saying, man? It was a lot of things that I benefited from doing that, from getting in the ministry. Man, we used to talk to kids all over America, and, I used to tell kids what not to do, man, and I got tired of telling them what not to do. So it inspired me, man. I went back to school and got my degree. I went and got my master's. I wrote a book. I did all kind of things, man, in God's name, you know what I mean, to show people it's never over. You can always dream, no matter how old you are.
Right, bro. And I thank you for all the camps that you helped me into T-Saw with, to Land Sawyer, man. I know y'all
Yes,
good
sir.
friends, bro. And
Yeah.
every time we call you, bro, you always showed up, man, and we appreciate you so much. And that's why I wanted to give you flowers, man, while we all still here breathing, man. And you deserve them. You a living legend, bro. You shocked the world and you did great things, and no one can take that. You are him, as Dion is saying, and now you was him back then before they was him.
Yeah, man, I'm just a humble servant now, man. I appreciate it, bro, man, but it's because of him, I was able to do those things. I thought it was all about me at one point, but, God has a way of humbling you, man. And what you was talking about, the fasting and stuff for that, breaking that stuff, man, you do have to do that, man. You have to work out right, man, or God will humble you. You get up there, man, you've been breaking bats for 10 years, and all of a sudden it's a bat up there you cannot break. So God will have his way of humbling you. But it's a message in that also. So,
Right. And man, I was so excited to talk to you. And I've seen Jerome several times, and just to reunite with you guys has been a blessing within itself, man. T-Saw said, "What's up, bro?" Strop City family, man. Yeah, bro. And man, you like family, bro. You always came around and you kept it real and 100, man. And we love you over here in Strop City, man.
No doubt, man. I appreciate it too, man. And y'all boys be safe over there in Strop City, man. And I appreciate you having me, man. I really do, bro.
Already, bro. And we're going to let you go, man. And we appreciate you, man. And anything we can do here at eMerge 360, you give us a holler.
All right. You do the same, man. Hit me up anytime, man.
Already, bro.
All right.
Hey, I'm your host, Maserati. I want to thank you guys for tuning in for this episode of Beyond the Game. This has been brought to you by Northeast Counseling of Strop City, Louisiana, Club Planet Funksville, Stepping Stones LLC of Jonesboro, Louisiana, and your own Involved Social and Civic Club, where we understand the social and civic needs of love, learn, live, and laugh. Until next time, y'all stay encouraged, y'all get involved, and most of all, y'all stay immersed. We out of this thing.
I've been to the bottom. Ain't nothing at the bottom for me. Only tell all my problems. Seems he can only solve it for me. I was raised in the ghetto. See, struggle ain't no stranger to me. I grind hard for the paper. I think the top is where I'm destined to be.
I ain't never been no crash, I'm in love with fast money. I hate to ask for something, nobody gave me nothing. Life on the line, I'm bustin'. I done been through enough shit. I ain't trying to be no upset. I don't trust anything suspect. Lost some years to the jungle. Brought some tears to my mama. Came home, tried to be humble, but I kept going under. Chip on my shoulder, just being honest. Made myself a promise that I ain't never going back. That selling where it's at. Time, just like the mind, they both for terrible thing to waste.